Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to go over the lesson RT Systems of Equations. The RT stands for reteach. This is the topic you should have learned last year, which is a topic that just extends off something you learned from 8th grade. So the directions for today, you're just going to watch this video, take notes, and then take the test on Castle Learning. That Castle Learning test is just consider it a homework assignment based on these notes. Now, if you need any extra help, I do have a reference sheet posted on my website too, which I'm going to show you how to get to. So once you get to my webpage, you're going to go to Extended School Closure Information. You're going to go to Algebra 1 and then Helpful Resources. The top one is the Algebra Quick Reference Sheet. If you open that up, there are a ton of different reference sheets, but there is one in there that specifically deals with systems of equations. It shows you the 3 methods and different examples. So here are your 3 methods. The last one is also known as elimination method, and here is a system of equations on a graph. Notice that the point of intersection is the solution, and it just talks about that in depth. Over here, the substitution method, you're going to be plugging in and then getting your solution. And then the addition method, this is your elimination method where you want the terms to be opposite terms so then they can cancel out. In the lesson today, we're also going to be dealing with systems of inequalities, and that's just bringing in these symbols, a little bit of shading, and creating a dashed or solid line. And this has some really great references, open, closed, and all of that. All of that information is on this sheet. If you want the notes to follow along and copy down, you're going to go to New Materials and Video Lessons. Scroll all the way to the bottom past the outline, and this is what you want. RT Systems of Equations PDF. You get that? Those are the exact notes that I'm going over in this video. And lastly, good job to those who turned in their previous Castle Learning assignment on the January 2019 Regents exam. You still have time to turn it in, but it's very important that you keep up with this outline. Remember that I give you 3 or 4 days to finish each assignment, so just stay on top of it and you'll be just fine. So let's get into this video today on systems of equations. Alright, so if you printed it out, it looks something like this. If you didn't print it out, that's okay too. Just write it on a separate sheet of paper. Remember that your solution is going to make the equation true, and when you have more than one, it has to make both of those equations true. Here are our 3 methods: graphing, substitution, and the addition method is also called the elimination method. And here are the steps for each. And now with this video, I'm going to go kind of quickly through it. So make sure that you're pausing the video so that you can copy down the notes. I know that it's not going to give you enough time to copy everything if you just watch the video straight through. I'm just trying to make the video as short as possible so that it's not super long. Alright, so here we have a multiple choice question. The Booster Club just sponsored a pancake breakfast as a fundraiser. An adult breakfast cost $7 and a child breakfast cost $5. They raised a total of $441 by serving 71 people. Which system of equations can be used to determine the number of adult breakfasts served A and the number of children's breakfasts served C? Okay, that seems like a lot, but just break it down step by step. We're dealing with systems of equations here. And judging by these answers, A, B, C, and D, we're going to have 2 equations. Now, each equation is its own type of topic, so I color-coded those. The first topic, or first equation, is going to deal with money. We have $7, $5, and how much money they raised. So the green is money. Next, we have 71 people. So our next equation is going to be dealing with people. So for money, we have 7A. What does the A stand for? Adult, because down here it mentions adult stands for A. Then we have plus 5C. 5 goes with the child and how much money we raised, or they raised. The last equation is based on the people. We know that there were a total of 71, so it must equal 71. And the types of people that there were adult and children. So we have A plus C. Okay, it's not so bad. You just got to break it down and get your two topics and fill in your equation. The next example deals with the elimination method. So let's go back up and review these steps. You're going to line up the variables. So A will be on top of A, X will be on top of X, Y will be on top of Y, and so on. Whatever letter is there, you line them up. Then you're going to look for or create opposite terms. So if there are opposite x's on top of each other, you're good to go. But if there aren't, you're going to have to multiply by some type of multiple. Then you're going to add these equations down to cancel the variable. But it doesn't stop there. After you cancel, you're going to solve it and get out a variable, and then you're going to have to plug it back in to get the other variable. But we're going to do the example. So that might have seemed like a lot there, but we're just going to do one and you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so first line up the variables. X's are on X's, Y's on Y's. We're good to go. Now we got to see if there are any opposites. Right here, positive 2, negative 2. Those are opposites, so we can go right ahead and add down. So 6 plus 5 is 11. That's an 11 right there. 11x equals 55 because these canceled out. Then we're going to solve for x. Divide by 11. The 11's canceled. That's what that slash was. And now you have your x. But your solution is a point where these two lines cross. And points always follow x comma y. So now we got to plug this 5 in to either equation, doesn't matter, and we're going to get out the y. I chose the top equation just because it doesn't matter. Then we're going to plug in our 5, solve it out. And remember, pause the video at any time you want to copy this down. Okay, so after all of that work, we have our x, we have our y. Now you got to write out your solution. Boom. So these two equations will cross or intersect at 5, 2. All right, moving on. Oh, would you look at that? Huh, I don't know how that got there. Just delete that. All right, next up, same thing. We're doing the elimination method. The x's and y's are lined up, but this was a 1 and 2. This is a 2 and a negative 3. Those are not opposites, so we can't cancel out. So what I chose to do, you could do whatever you want as long as you create opposites, but I chose to multiply by negative 2 so that this 1, when you multiply, becomes negative 2. Then those x's will just cancel right out. Remember to multiply by every single term, even this last term. Even though it's across the equal sign, you still jump over the equal sign and you multiply 2 times, not 2, negative 2 times 11. So there's the first step, multiplying negative 2 times 1, negative 2 times 2, negative 2 times 11. Second equation I just bring over. Now we have opposites. Now those will cancel, right? So no more x term, gone. Then you just solve for y, divide, and you get 6. But remember, your solution is the x comma y, not just the y. Take that y, plug it in, get the x. Doesn't matter which one you plug it into. Pick one. I picked the top one. Plug in your y and get out your x. You need to write the solution too. Don't forget that. So -1, comma 6. Next method, substitution method. You're just going to take it, plug it in, and solve it. Plug it back in, and get the other variable. First things first though, you need to have one variable by itself. We're good to go. We're going to take that and we're going to plug it in. Okay, so this 4y plus 3 went in for this little x there. Use your parentheses. Then you're going to solve. Get out your one variable, but remember, you're not done. You're going to pick one. I picked the easier one because we want to know x. So we plug in y, we're going to get out x. And then you get your x. And then don't forget about your solution. All right, next up, number 5. We're still going to do the substitution method. What's your first step? You're going to have to solve for a variable. It doesn't matter which equation you choose. It doesn't matter which variable you do. But I'm going to do the second one. I'm going to manipulate this 2x plus y. And I'm going to get, hopefully, don't worry about that, get y by itself over here. That's what I chose. Okay, then you're going to take this negative 2x plus 2, you're going to plug it into the other equation, into that y spot there. Okay, so we have the 3x still, we're good, plus 4, we're good. Then instead of y, you would just plug in what you just got over here. Now, just like the last one, the equation is a little bit longer, but now I want you to try that on your own. And if you hear any commotion, which it's distracting me, it's my husband. He's working from home. He is upstairs. He's got a really loud voice. So if I seem spacey or I'm not, focusing, it's because he's up there in the back of my ear. Hopefully you don't hear him though. Okay, anyway. So again, I want you to solve this one on your own. The solution is -3, 8. So hopefully you get that out. Okay, next we're moving on to systems of equations. Next, we're moving on to systems of equations. Now, I want you to copy down all of this stuff on the top here, so pause the video. All right, so the solutions to these inequalities are not points, like x comma y, and just one single point. It's a ton of points, and you represent the ton of points by shading. Okay, that shading covers all of the points within that region, and every single point in there is a solution that will make both inequalities true. So these are your steps. I know there are a lot, but copy these down too. First up, in order to graph the inequalities, y needs to be by itself. So the first one we lucked out. Next, you're going to graph each line. You could use the calculator or you can do it by hand. Then you're going to choose the line type. Is it going to be dashed or solid? Shading, is it going to be up or down, left or right? And then what's the solution? Shade in that area. Okay, so let's get into it. Y less than x minus 2. So the first thing we need is our y-intercept if we're going to graph it by hand. So the y-intercept is -2, 0. Then we're going to need our slope. So it's 1/1, so up 1 to the right 1. And then this has no line under it, so it's going to be dashed and then it's less than, so we're going to shade down or below. Okay, so let's go ahead and put this on a graph. So first up, y-intercept, up 1 to the right 1. And just make a few dots up. Okay, there is the start of our line. Next, our type of line, we already said it's dashed. And our shading is down. So if I'm going down, I would start at this line and just bring my line downwards and shade everything underneath there. All right, so the next line, our y-intercept, come on, okay, is 5, 0. Our slope is down 1 to the right 2 or up 1 to the left 2. And this is also dashed because there's no line underneath, and it's greater than, so we're going to shade up. So there's our y-intercept and our slope. And sometimes they don't cross perfectly, and that's okay, because the solution is the shaded area of both inequalities. It's not just this little point of intersection. And since these lines are both dashed, this point right here in the middle somewhere actually is not even a solution. Okay, both of these lines need to be solid in order for there to be a solution right at the middle there. So that's not even a solution. So now the shading, we're going to shade up because it's greater. So we're going to start at our line and we're just going to go up everywhere from the green line, the green dash line. Okay. All right, now the last step, identify the solution. That's where there is double shading going on. So I'm just going to put a big old S there. This is the solution. All right, that's it. Okay, 7, we are still going to do the same thing. We're graphing, except the first step here, these are not solved for y, like y is not by itself, so you have to do that first. So here I went ahead and showed the work for that. The second one is a little different. You end up having to flip the signs, the sign, because you divide by a negative right here, so it's going to change to a greater than or equal to symbol. So since I just showed the last one, I showed the new step for this. Now take it a step further and try to do the graph on your own. Okay, remember to keep in mind of the shading and the dashed or solid line, and use all of the notes from the top of this page. Scroll up, that would be great. Okay, yeah. Use all these notes up here to help you with the second graph. And then you can try this one on your own too. First up, get y by itself, and then graph. For number 2 and 3, I'm giving you the answer. I just want you to show the work. Oh. I want you to just show the work and explain these answers for both 2 and 3. Okay, so this is the answer for the perimeter, and this is the answer for the area. All right, that was our overview of systems of equations. Now go ahead and take that CASEL Learning assignment. That's how you're going to get your credit in the grade book. If you have any questions, please email me or send them through the Remind. I hope you have a great day.